I don't wanna. I'm sad. These books haven't made me very happy today. Or on the days that I read them. I wanted to love these books. I really did. But Nope. I did not like the Rainwild Chronicles Quartet, and I'm about to explain to you why. Maybe you should know who I am. I'm Alex, or Iskandar. In the first recording I did of this, I accidentally said that I was Alice. I am not Alice. I am a guy. Thank you very much. Anyways, I had heard multiple things about the Rainwild Chronicles Quartet going into it, and that most people thought it was the worst part of the Realm of the Underlings. I'd have to agree. But going into it, I thought, okay, I'm hoping I'll like this. I did not like it as much as I wanted to, because what I expected was lower quality. I did not get lower quality in general. Well, if we're going for overall, if the bar for overall quality is, can it impact your life, how many deep, resonating themes is it going to hit, lower quality. But in terms of the prose, the actual property of story, it's still really good. The only difference with this quartet and everything else in the Realm of the Elderlings is that Hob focuses on a completely different thing. It feels like something that's so disconnected from Realm of the Elderlings. And it feels like it's just one... It feels like it's a completely different series. The only reason I could feel that it was part of Realm of the Elderlings is because we have some of the same characters that coming back. We have... Actually, I shouldn't say that if you haven't read any of the other series. Obviously, dragons are in here, but we know... We see some older characters in this quartet, and it really made me happy. And I'll explain why exactly for those bits. But the reason I think this quartet suffered is the romance. It comes right down to the romance. But first, let me talk about Hob's prose and how she describes things. So, the way Hob talks about a character, how she writes her books, is when we go into a scene, we will be able to see the full scope of somebody's mind going in and going out. What do I mean by that? Let's say there's a guy named John, and he has a son named Billy. We're focusing on John. When both of them go into a room together, we understand everything that John is thinking. We understand exactly what he's thinking, how he's reacting to the surroundings in the room, and then we see how he converses with his son. We see how he talks to his son. But more importantly, we see how he reacts to some of the things his son says. And let's say that John ends up beating his son, Billy. We get to see every small, nuanced change in John's thought process in order to finally come to the decision, I need to beat up Billy. And that still remains. She has not lessened that ability. That ability is still there. It's still here throughout the entire book. Here's the problem. In this book, we are focusing on something else. We are not focusing on the nuance of a father beating his child. We are focusing on romance. So, imagine... It's literally romantasy. That is what this quartet is. It is romantasy. It is If you have read anything by Sarah J. Maas, I don't actually know why I'm bringing that up, because I've only read one series of hers, and I think it's the most epic fantasy of them all, but I don't know. I know for a fact that it's not our typical epic fantasy, because every character we focus on is focusing on romance. Now let me tell you the basic plot structure of these 4 books. You can jump into it at any time you really like. Should you? No, I don't think so. But if you're looking for epic fantasy, don't start here. This is something you slog through if you expect epic fantasy. I went in expecting epic fantasy and got romantasy. I don't mind romantasy. I like to enjoy it because it's garbage. And it's guilty pleasure. We all have those random books where we think, oh, that's so terrible. I love it. That black box, one of those black boxes over there. I'm not sure if you can see them in the camera, but one of the black books is actually one of my guilty pleasure books. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I just wanted to bring your attention to it so that you look at it and you suffer, thinking, what book is that? I want to know what book it is. No, I'm not telling you. Anyways, I found that Hobb is focusing on the romance so much that it ends up being a detriment to everything else. Now, again, I told you that I was going to tell you the basic plot structure of this story. So, we follow essentially 2 characters, I think. If I'm forgetting one, then I forget one, because I don't care. We follow Alice and we follow Thymara. Alice is, of the characters that I had to slog... Oh, wait, no, and we also follow Cedric. I hate Cedric with a burning passion, and I will explain why in a minute. So, Alice is... What's the word? Duped? She's tricked into going into this marriage with a guy named... I can't even remember... Hest Finnbach is his name. There we go. They're both from Bingtown, so if you've read The Live Ship Traders, that's where that mostly takes place in. And at the start of this first book, The Dragon Keeper... Is it Dragon Keeper or Dragon Keepers? It's Dragon Keeper. Alice is tricked into going into this marriage with Hest, because Hest needs an heir, or else his father is going to disinherit him and give the trader assets to one of his cousins. And Hest doesn't really like that idea. Here's the problem. Hest is not... He's gay. And he is in a behind-the-scenes relationship with his secretary. I feel like, now that I think about it, this is very generic. With his secretary, Cedric, who I loathe them both. Poor Alice thinks that she's going into a marriage, thinking, oh yeah, we're going to eventually like each other. No. And I'm not saying love, just like each other. They don't even tolerate each other in this book. And eventually, she, as part of the contract, is allowed to go up to the Rainwilds and see the dragons as they are going up to a new city named Kelsingra. I cut a lot out, but that's fine. Now, the other character, Thymara, is a girl who has been affected by the Rainwilds and was supposed to be killed, as to the culture of the Rainwilds, at birth. That meaning she has claws, she has been changed to look more like a dragon at birth, and so as she ages, she turns into something that a lot of people would consider not even human. And she is supposed to have been killed at birth, because that's how their culture works. If you are way too affected at birth, then you are killed immediately. But I think her father, or maybe her mother, ended up saving her, and she's allowed to live because it's fine as long as they don't have children. Now, then they all start going up. She, alongside a couple other people just like her, are recruited into the Dragon Keepers to help keep the dragons in check, to keep them safe as the dragons head north. I think it's north. I don't know. There's not a map in this Quartet, which is really weird to me because every other book in the series has had a map. As they go up to Kelsingra, which is an old Elderling city, and these... I'm not saying that. I was gonna say a big spoiler. Now, the reason all of this is mildly interesting is because of Alice. Because I did like the idea of her having to run away from a terrible marriage where she is essentially being abused, and at times there was a scene that just made it sound and look like essentially bad thing. Insert bad thing. So that she can have an heir. I think you can fill in the blanks there. Now, I think that there could have been two ways to fix this quartet. That being, chop it up. You see these books? Look at these books. This is 500 pages, 500 pages, 500 pages, and this is 400 pages. So that's 1,500, that's almost 2,000 pages. No. We did not need 2,000 pages of romance, lust, all that stuff. What made the quartet good and bearable? The second two books bring back a lot of characters who I love from Live Ship Traders. So if you haven't read Live Ship Traders, this quartet will not, probably won't work for you if you have not read Live Ship Traders and you're going in expecting epic fantasy. But again, it's still epic fantasy at the end of the day, but it's more romance-focused epic fantasy. Hence why I call it romantasy. It is literally, it's Hobbes' take on romantasy before romantasy was called romantasy. How about that? And I can't stand some of the new characters, but I felt the ending was rushed. I felt the ending was abrupt. And I also think that the best portion of this, as I've said earlier, was old characters coming back. I love some of the characters we got to meet again. It was like catching up with old friends. It was like when I went and read the Farseer trilogy, I then took about 6 months break before I went to go read Tawny Man trilogy. Of course, I read Life Ship in between. But finally coming back to Fitz and being able to catch up and see what he's been doing for like 15 years was so nice. Same thing here. It is that same feeling of, oh, I'm meeting old friends, I'm getting to talk to them. It's just great. I loved it so much. Now, that's pretty much all the praise I have. There was one character who I did actually really appreciate, and old character. Again, a character who I already liked, and I really appreciated his growing nuance of a relationship with a very important and big character in this series. So, seeing him suffer and really learn to accept that's just how this major character is was really nice, even though he should not trust this major character ever. Although, something I will say, I expected Amber to return. Amber. I didn't get Amber back, which was kind of shocking, but I don't care. I will be reading The Fitz and the Fool soon, so I'm happy with that. And I will also give a full admission. I skimmed these books. I skimmed them. Because if I had not committed to finishing this quartet so that I could get the most out of the last trilogy in the Realm of the Elderlings, I would have DNF'd it. I really wanted to DNF it, but if I'm being perfectly honest, I want to get the most out of the Fitz and the full trilogy because everything else is so brilliant. So, do I recommend this series? Absolutely not, unless you're a particular audience and you're going in with the right headspace. If you are thinking Fourth Wing-like, or Sarah J. Maas' Throne of Glass-like, probably gonna get what you want. I don't care for those books as much as some people do, because I think they're garbage. Again, these books, I can tell are high quality, just aren't what I want. I don't want to read a romance. I want to read a very emotional tale about people, which romance can be, but I always think that most of the time, romance being at the center of a plot, or near the center, just means it's not going to be as emotionally powerful as it possibly could be. I think that looking at violence and the terrible parts of the human mind can help shed a light on the brighter parts of it, which is why in this series, it didn't get as much of that as we get in other parts of the series, or in this section of the series, we didn't get as much as I like about the other parts of the series. In other parts of the series, we'll get prejudice, we'll get so many different examinations of generational trauma, of so many different kinds of trauma, of, as I said, prejudice or persecution, and how that affects both persecuted and the persecutors. And we didn't get that here. We really didn't get that here. So, that's all I have to say. I am going to stop being Alex, apparently, for a couple seconds and become Iskandar, the Great Conqueror. I should actually give you all a timeline. So, to give you all a kind of idea what I'm going to be doing for the next couple videos is, next video is very likely going to be an analysis of heroism in The Bound and the Broken, because I love that series and I really want to talk about it. Now, after that is going to be a Riven Earth review. Why haven't I made a Riven Earth review? I'm going to be recording one later this week after I have written one, because that was part of my agreement. I said I was going to write a Riven Earth review, and I'm working on it. Life gets in the way, and I just need to make sure it's a good review, because I got my copy for free, and I want to make sure that is a genuinely honest review, because I am a little mixed on the book. And also, I want to talk about, I said with Chance Dillon, I think that's his name, and if you're in the comments, I'm really sorry that I butchered the name, because I probably did. If I didn't, good on me. I'm going to mention him in the comments. Go subscribe to him. We are going to have a conversation on, not these books, this isn't the book series I'm talking about, on the Riven Earth duology, the Book of Estea duology, an indie book published by Zamar Ahmer, and I hope I said that right. Now, I think he said he was also going to invite one more guy, and we're also going to get Zamar Ahmer himself on this chat, which is going to be really fun. I don't know if it's going to be live, I don't know when it's going to be, but I think it's going to be on the entire duology. I'll have to check up on him with that, but I really don't know. I just need to be able to get constant contact with him. Now, after that, you're also going to get a review of A Dirge for Cascas, which, so far, I'm reading right now. It's really good. And then, you're very likely... The last thing I'm going to do this month is probably going to be to write Hell's Chasm. You won't get anything out of me for Fool's Assassin because it's going to be too spoilery, and I kind of want to do spoiler-free reviews or a spoiler-filled analysis. So that's pretty much all I have to say for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Oh, wait. I just realized I actually want to ask all of you a question. If you have read the Rainwild Chronicles, do you think it is good? Do you agree with my points? Do you think I could add more to what I'm saying? And that's pretty much all I have to say. I should have said this earlier. I'm terrible at these question-asking things. I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you love these books more than I did.